When you think of rock and roll, you don't necessarily picture lockers and classrooms. But every guitar hero has to start somewhere. So for these budding performers, school is in session. Camp Jam is a week-long training workshop for aspiring young musicians and vocalists. It was co-founded in 2004 by former 38 Special guitarist Jeff Carlisi. Each student begins the week with an evaluation by a team of instructors who place them into groups based on ability and style. The groups move through a series of stations that cover all aspects of the music industry, from songwriting and recording to performing.
They go from station to station all day, and the whole day we're working. They get a lot of education really fast.
Jimmy Griffin is the musical director of Camp Jam. He has worked as a songwriter, vocalist, and guitar player for multiple acts throughout the city. Having logged so many hours in the music industry enables him to nurture the young talent he sees at the camp.
When they're kids, and when I was a kid, you would get to the part of the song that you would mess up, and you would just play straight through it. And with having us there, we can stop them at that point, and you break it down and correct it really fast. And then next time they encounter that problem, they can correct it themselves.
Jimmy knows what he's talking about because he was in a touring band that was signed to a record label, and he knows all the little tricks of the trade. Having him is it's extremely influential. He's been great.
At this age, every once in a while I can pitch them a song that I like, and they'll go, oh yeah. Most of the time they like their music, which is great, because when I was their age, I liked what I liked, and somebody said, oh, Jimi Hendrix is great. I was like, Eddie Van Halen's way better than Jimi Hendrix. So, and that's what they're supposed to do. That's what's rock and roll, is telling me to take a hike,
The first few years, it was a little more strict, not really as rock and roll. But once Jimmy came, it kind of got cooler and less rules and more rock, more fun.
I remember being this age, and vividly, and how much I loved playing music, and how much I loved to play the guitar, and how my mom used to force me to go outside. And that's it kept me out of a lot of trouble, and I think it does the same thing nowadays. So.
For most of the students at Camp Jam, music is their creative release and a chance to be around their own kind of team.
You get to be around people who love what you love, and people don't exclude you for it or anything, and you can just be yourself around them and nobody cares. They're just like, hey, you like this? I like that too. That's cool. Let's jam.
If a kid just picks up a guitar and just plays alone in his basement, he's not going to stick with it. He has to have friends who also play other instruments so they can kind of come together and create music.
Now with the computers and stuff, they're not as social as I was as a child. So it's just getting them out, getting them around like-minded people.
A lot of kids meet and form bands here at Camp Jam, and they stay in bands at home, and play throughout the year. And so it's a great opportunity for them.
But this school of rock isn't all work and no play. And on this day, the campers were visited by Guns N' Roses guitarist and St. Louis native Richard Fortus.
He's here talking to the kids about what it's like to be a rock star, what it's like growing up playing music.
They see us every day, and we become like, oh, that's that guy. Whereas when the artists come in, it's a little more special, and it's great because everybody, when they first picked up a guitar, wanted to be a rock star. So to have them here and have someone and be able to see someone in the flesh right in front of you is great for them.
How many of you guys want to become professional musicians? Wow.
I'm always been a Guns N' Roses fan, and then he's a really great guitarist, so it just made it really cool.
I think most of them think they will be famous musicians. And most of them have high hopes, as we all do when we're young. We all think that we're going to, change the world. The reality is some of them may make it, but probably most of them, 90% of them, will be playing music in some way as they grow up. I mean, I always thought I was going to be famous before I was 20. Didn't quite make it. But I am playing music, and music is a huge part of my life, and I think that's going to hold true for these kids as well.
It's the last night of camp, and the students are about to take the stage. Tonight is their chance to crank the amps up to 11. After a week-long rock and roll boot camp, these future rock stars perform one final show for a packed audience of friends and family.
You can't always get what you want, but if you try something, it's not what you need.
Camp like this is so important because it teaches you the values of not being afraid to be yourself in front of people, and you get to do what you love every single day, which I think is amazing.
As long as Camp Jam is in St. Louis, I will be here every time.
The main thing I tell them is, if you're a good person, you're going to play good music with good people. And that, yeah, it's fun and you're going to have a good time, but you can also learn things while you're having a good time.